Hi folks, and welcome back to some more Hearts of Iron 4 with me, Markgfl. And today we're going to be playing as Finland on Historical, but we're not going to quite play as historically as Finland did in the real war. We're in for a bit of a ride with this one, and I've got some really cool stuff to show you. And this, of course, is using the new, or the recent, as it is now, expansion Arms Against Tyranny, which massively changes up the focus tree here. There's some cool stuff in here, and we're going to have a lot of fun with it. But before we get into that, for those of you who are fans of Warhammer 40k, over on the main Markgfl channel starting on Monday the 29th, and on Twitch, of course, at the same time, because I multicast now on both. We're going to be starting Rogue Trader, the new 40k game. It's going to be a hell of a blast, a great adventure, and I can't wait to get into it. And it would be great if I could see you there live as well. So I'll pop a link in the description, of course, and maybe we'll see you on that. So, Finland. This has been a very highly requested playthrough from you guys since ever you've wanted to see it. We've got a face-off against the Soviet Union. We've got options to ally with Germany or to go against them, as the game may progress into. And we have all sorts of things we can do with the Nordic Union. And that is exactly what we're going to try to do. But I have a very specific path that we're going to go down. So let's jump in and I will tell you all about it. So to start with, we're going to set up our usual same old basic 3 industries to research at the start of the game. I still find this to be the best way to go about anything. So we get those going. We have like a really weak economy as Finland at the start. It can increase later through focuses. We can build stuff, but it's kind of low, and we're going to get quite the penalty. Actually, let's have a look at the nation buffs. We start off with the Sisu, and all it is division recovery rate and division defense on core territory, which isn't bad actually. But that's all we get. There is a mechanic here as well about public trust. Now this does give benefits or negatives depending on which way it's going. And we can try and improve it. This guy's not going to be in charge for very long though, so we don't need to worry. But that's something that we do need to worry about in the future. So let's have a look what we're going to build first. Maybe a little bit of infrastructure. We don't have a lot of resources, and this is a way of boosting that. Infrastructure is always useful. And it doesn't get the big penalties that building factories does early on in the game. So I'm going to drop some in here to get one more steel. That doesn't seem like the best bargain. Anyway, there's other ways of getting steel as well. So we will... I don't know about that one, actually. People say to do that. I'm actually going to go civilian at the start of the game. It's going to take ages to build that, but it will give us some use early on. Military factories, we have 3. It's terrible. We're going to produce guns and equipment. We've got a job for that coming up. We do have a dockyard, which is quite useful, so we'll put that on convoys. Convoys definitely have a use. Focus trees, let's have a look. So we can go Finnish neutrality. We can lean to the left, and we can lean to the right, and that's exactly where we're going right now. We're going to lean to the right. It doesn't take long to get started. We're going to go and have a bit of a coup. We're going to have a fascist government installed, and we don't have time to wait for it to happen naturally, so we're going to rush that along. Yep, that does mean fighting a civil war. If you guys stay tuned, I will show you how to cheese a civil war in this game. Well, it's not exactly cheesing. It's doing what any good dictator would do if they're about to take over. I'll show you how it's going to work, and I believe it will work for pretty much any other nation in the game as well. Or you will get some differences depending on the type of economies and factories and stuff that they've got available. So we do have an army at the moment. We'll put that into that force there just to keep track of it. But that's actually not going to be all that important. So let's just speed up the game. I will train these guys up because if we can get some army experience early on, it's useful. So the purpose of this playthrough... And I haven't decided exactly which way we're going to go, but I know we will be fighting the Soviet Union, that is for sure. We may fight Germany. We may actually jump into bed with them as opportunities arise. So we've got the first one done, the right-wing policies over here. So we've got options now. We can discredit the democratic system, which slowly tries to replace the democratic government or the underlying government, I forget which one we've got, with a fascist one. We don't have that long. We're going straight in to prepare a military coup. And that opens up some interesting decisions that we have to act quick on. Oh, at the same time, very important if you do this, the first thing you must do and it happens at the same time, 35 days in, because we've just got 100 political power. It's easy to miss because he's further down this list in amongst all these things you can't use yet. Paavo Suusitaival? Suzy, I apologise to all you Finnish viewers. My pronunciation is going to be horrendous. Fascist demagogue, daily fascism support. That one's going to be super important, and you shall see why soon. So, roll cameras. Italy moves to annex the Sultanate of Ossa. Again. We see these things a lot, don't we? And that instantly resolves itself. I've only ever seen Italy being defeated or even resisted once in the whole Ethiopia situation. And that was cool. Italy actually agreed to a white peace, and that was on historical settings. It doesn't happen often. But it's kind of cool when it does. Okay, so I'm just going to drop the speed down here in case I make a mistake. So prepare a military coup. So the next thing, if you go straight to a fascist regime, which you can do, you miss out on something super important in here, which is a new political option that's just opened up. There's all sorts of things you can do here before doing the coup. You can appeal to the middle classes, which gives you more support. You can purchase German equipment. Super important that you secure the military, because otherwise, let me show you the generals. If you don't, you will lose a ton of these. More importantly, you will lose Karl Mannerheim himself. And he is a super good field marshal. So, we need to secure the military. Don't worry about this. This is going to be fine. It's going to be fine, as long as I remember to do something. So we are not going to do this just yet, because to do that, we need to have 30% support for the IKL, and which is a fascist group, and it's only at 26. So it takes 35 to 70 days to do this, so we can choose something else in the meantime. It's awesome if you can find like a 35-day... we can do the increased military. Actually, I think you need the 70 days. I think you need 70 days to get this done. Or you can kind of time it so that this finishes around about the 65th day of doing something. I don't like trying to play things quite that tight because I inevitably make a mistake. So we want two 35 days or one 75 day to go in. I don't like interrupting these if we don't have to. This one's quite good, by the way. It gives you a military factory, which we will be taking out. A bit of infrastructure is never a bad thing. I think I might go for that early on. Let's do that. By the time we've got that one done, we're going to see... Yeah, we can roll this on now. This is fine. The Rhineland has remilitarized. Always worrying. Turkey remilitarizes the Turkish Straits. This is a new event since the latest... Well, not the latest, but the Battle of the Bosphorus DLC, which is the last one I bought in the Steam sale over Christmas. You guys have been asking me to maybe play as one of these nations, Bulgaria, Greece or Turkey, if you'd like to see that. Let me know down in the comments. But their next planned playthrough is as the USA doing the 1941 style start, where we play like we don't expect a war to kick off. So we can't use our hindsight to benefit until the war kicks off, and then we can actually start preparing. I want to see how the USA comes back from that. I think it's going to be quite good fun. It'd be different to my last USA playthrough, where obviously we knew what was coming and we prepared for it. Excellent. We've got mechanical engineering. I probably don't need to jump into the radio so soon, so I'm going to get this one next. As we're not planning to do any fighting just this moment in time. So where are we? Where are we on this one? This is looking good, and we're at 28% on that. The threat of communism. Per Evind Svinevud? What? I can't pronounce these. Would have you believe Finland stands safe and united. No surprise such lies have poisoned the minds of our people. When a snake is coiled up next door, look no further than across our border to see countrymen having turned on each other in the name of communism, declaring the end of nations. How long until they declare our nation dead as well? Will the Kukumas protect us from this threat? The growth of the fascist movement in Finland has been bolstered by the proximity of the communist revolution. Many moderates who might normally dismiss fascism as another misguided ideological experiment find this to be a very real concern for them as well. Given the choice between the communism of our neighbours and a fascist regime, they would immediately prefer the latter. They might even be willing to actively support it. This is excellent. I've not seen this before. I've done a couple of trial runs as Finland, just up to like 1939, just to work out how these focuses work, because It's not necessarily obvious. This is a new one. So this gives an instant 10% boost to fascist ideology, which is perfect, because now we can now secure the military. So by doing this, when the Civil War starts, we'll get 10% of the total territory and military units, and it will keep all the military leaders. It's not going to matter about the military units. You'll see why when we get there. Which is going to be real soon now, actually, because as soon as this finishes, and I could actually kick this over now, but we won't. Second London Naval Treaty signed. Yes, we're going to have some interesting times. We've got some political options coming up that messes around with the Nordic countries. Excellent. So we've got enhanced southern infrastructure, which is always nice to get stuff like that. We're going straight into the fascist regime. It's 35 days. So now we need... Oh, now we need to make some changes here. Right. So what we do is we select our army and we disband the whole lot. We're not going to need an army where we're going. We go into the international market. This is also quite important. We've got some French light tanks to start with. So we're going to put all those on the market. But more importantly, we may as well sell the convoys as well. And I'm going to put all of our guns on the market. And you might be thinking, why are you doing that? You're going to fight a civil war. Well, if we have it in stock when the civil war starts, the other side are going to get half of it, give or take a bit. And we don't want that. And we can get it back. And the other thing I wanted to do at this point, there's an options page here. Is that it? There is an options page where we can choose. Doesn't matter. All that happens is we get the offers. And they're buying it. Excellent. Sell it to Brazil. There's an option just to auto accept offers. We'll go and have a look at that. We'll go concentrated industry to get the biggest boost we can out of our areas. It's just on here, isn't it? Market options, auto accept purchases. There we go. Right, so we want to sell all that stuff. Pause. Have I forgotten anything? We've got that ticked. We've got the army sorted. This is rolling along. And this is building civilian factories. You can see how slow that goes. That's 6 months of building. And we haven't even got the first one done. I am going to go and do this. Actually, there's no point building up there, is there? But we did get the free level of infrastructure, so that's cool. And as... right, okay, I'm just going to pop an infrastructure in there. Because what is going to happen next, when this kicks off, is we're going to lose the top half of Finland. And you're probably thinking, Mark, you're absolutely insane. You're mad. What do you think you're doing? Right, this is where we definitely slow down the time. Pause. So, we got it. We've got a fascist regime. Excellent. That kicks off. We've gone to war with northern Finland. They didn't like the idea of us breaking away. We now need to get things sorted. So, we could do with political power. This affects public trust. But I might do this first. We get a military factory in our region. So, I'm going to do that first, because the public trust thing, it's not so urgent immediately. Right, let's take a look. We have no forces. However, we now go in here and we cancel all those contracts. We don't have to cancel the convoy, so we can keep that one going. So they'll get sent back. And in selling equipment, we cancel that one and we can sell the tanks. That gives us our equipment back. And because we had no soldiers in the army, half of them can't defect to fight for the North. So they're left trying to create an army from scratch with whatever the manpower value is, with half of no equipment, because we put it all on the market to sell, except for what our factories built between then and now. And, yeah, so they're kind of screwed. And that is how you cheese a civil war, but we'll show you properly. And so we're not expecting to do a lot of fighting, so we're just going to... We'll put them there. We're going to create some cavalry units. We've got 11 divisions coming up. Can we put another one in? Might as well. And all we need to do... Oh, we get building free civilian factories. Oh, I think that probably stopped the infrastructure project, didn't it? Yeah. I'm going to do this because there is a focus later on that will give us a boost to any areas with 3-level infrastructure. So we'll get that put in now. So what we need to do is put this up And at the same time, the instant we can deploy all these, and they've got the equipment and manpower, it's just waiting for a bit of basic training. We deploy them, we have an army, Northern Finland doesn't, and that should be the end of the Civil War. So we're in July 36. I'm going to get this one researched. It's an early one. Because we've got some benefits coming to researching infantry equipment, and I don't want one to be wasted taking up that. Right, keep an eye on this one. Just waiting for this button to light up here. Nationalist Spain declared war on Spain. Now, as we're going fascist, you would expect that we could actually get involved in the war in Spain, but we can't. We can't, and this would be great if we could. We could join the fascist side, send some volunteers. Not like a full declaration of war, you understand. I'm just talking about sending volunteers. But we can't because there is a restriction. I can't even see the option. We need at least 30 divisions, so we can't even get involved in that, which would be a shame. That would be a cool thing to do. However, we do have an army. Let's put them in. Let's get old Mannerheim in there. And someone... Yeah, you look pretty good. What's that one? A veteran Jaeger. Oh, that looks pretty tasty. So if I go for him, and I'm going to give everyone unyielding defender. I'd like to make him the attacker, actually. He's got defensive doctrine. Oh, okay, so we can't. That's a shame, because I would have liked that, but defense plus 10%. That will be useful later. I'm going to go for the others first, I think. And this chap, we're going to make you adaptable and a winter expert. It's so nice having a glut of command points early on in the game. Okay, all we need to do is a front line on there. And let's follow that line up and make sure we take the ports. And we just trigger it. And I don't think we'll meet any resistance on the way. They might have got something. So we increased the military budget, which is good. That just gives us a free military factory. These are also good, more military factories and research. We'll come back to those in a bit. Everything is good in the tree, by the way. It's one of those focus trees where every option is fun and gives you some instant bonus. Now these, should we take them early or should we take them late? I mean, daily political power gain. Yeah, okay, I think we'll go with them quite early. And 5% stability is quite good. And they're quick ones to get. Stability is going to be the low point here. I mean, we are fighting a civil war. Now, I think I would like to save the political power. At this point, I'd normally put like a general in to start earning experience, and that would be good. However, I'm going to save it. You'll see why. Just make sure you guys do have that, don't you? And I'm just going to tell these guys where to go, just to make sure. So there is no doubt in the matter. It's just the towns. If we get the towns, and we should be able to roll over pretty quickly. I'm always going to need infantry equipment. I'm going to start building guns. Because, maybe not that much. Maybe not quite that much. We've got nothing in training. We will train a few more of these if we can. I'll leave it on that. We're going to run out of manpower, but that's fine. That's something else that we're going to have to deal with fairly soon. And as you can see, they haven't even had a chance. That's perfect. Finland was annexed. We got the equipment. See, that's all they had. Our stocks were divvied up. They didn't get much, and that's why we did that. So consider that a civil war cheesed, and I'm pretty sure that works for most of the other nations. By the way, I'm just looking at this now. If we ignore Norway, because Norway kind of blends into the background a bit, and if we just look at the bright blue Sweden and the bright white Finland, we've got what looks like a droopy cock and ball sack. And now I've seen that, I can never not see it when I look at this game. And I do apologise if I've just ruined the game for you guys. You're welcome. Right, anyway, that was excellent. We're not going to waste time giving these guys a medal because we're going to need everything we can for the next stage of the game, political power-wise. We can't do it yet, can we? No, we can't. So, that was beautiful. Let's get the next thing triggered. We should start getting civilian factories and stuff coming back into the fold. Perfect. Okay, so I'm happy with the first stage of the game, how it's gone. I'm just going to save the game. We're not playing on Iron Man on this. We'll just make sure we've got this saved. Let's put on pause and go. Games of the 11th Olympiad. Attended by the athletes from 49 different nations across the world. The 36 Summer Olympics are the first in history to enjoy limited live television coverage. Did they have TV coverage back then? I didn't think that came in until a little later. I guess they must have done. Academic Karelian Society, which is nice. And all this is... Oh, actually, that is really good too. But what we want is Finnish supremacy in the north. We're going to get this next. This basically builds us a spy agency for free without having to assign civilian factories, which is great because we don't even have enough civilian factories to build one. So we are going to go for this. This is a 70-day one. And that's going to open up some political options, and you're going to see why I'm saving the power real soon. Although I might have been a little bit overcautious. We maybe don't need to save as much as this. But either way, we're going to do it. Let's just keep adding more divisions into this. We can put them up here, it's fine. In fact, we can add divisions in until we run out of manpower. Ethiopia has capitulated. So that's gone to Italy. As usual. The Civil War. We're going to see this bit break away soon. It feels like just a running script, doesn't it? That it always goes like this. So if we ever get to see anything different, it'll be awesome. I love it when the game does something different. And I know people will be saying, well, play on non-historical then. And yes, we will get round to that. But I love playing World War II at the same time. So we've got support weapons done. We could go straight in for a research bonus, although we are quite a way behind. We're in November 36. I think we're going to jump in for the industry. I think the industry is probably more important. We'll get that going there. And this is for infantry equipment. We shall take soft attack and reliability to start with. And start getting that stuff. Oh, we're about to hit the next thing. Saw that finish. Excellent. So it is also super important to get these done as well very quickly afterwards because it's the Keepers of the North. However, there's several things have to happen before we need to worry about triggering that. So we do have time. And I'm going to get myself a spy agency for free. And then we're going to use the spies to our advantage. So let's have a look. So decisions, we've got to promote ideology rallies in Denmark. And what this essentially does, Denmark, Norway, and Sweden. So this is going to start boosting fascism in those three countries. You can also do it in, can you do it in all of these? Latvia, Estonia, and Lithuania if you wanted to. However, they don't class as Nordic countries for the other purposes. I believe, I might be wrong on that, but I don't think they do. And when well, I'll show you what we're going for. We're basically going to create this faction, this Nordic faction. And if we're successful at it, and you can do it politically and we can do it militarily. If it's militarily, it has to be early before big nations start guaranteeing independent ones. And then we're going for Keepers of the North. Now, this makes Finland demand the annexation of every Nordic subject or ally in the Finnish faction and gains a control or a core or a claim on every Nordic state, neutral or otherwise. And that is awesome. It can basically make a massive Finland, but there's several things have to happen in the right order and in time for that to happen. Speaking of which, let me just find our navy here and just combine those into one. And we'll have a general or an admiral in charge. We have Industry 1. We're going to go straight for Industry 2. We've nearly got mechanical computing as well. I love it at the start of these games when everything just comes together. We better get radio for the reinforced rate because we might be seeing some military action soon. So we're going to see these things come to fruition fairly quickly. And I think it'd be fun playing non-historical to try and do it with these countries as well. But we're going to be limited on political power, so I'm gonna hold off. So what should we build? We got the civilian factories, I think. There's not an awful lot that we can build, but infrastructure is always useful, especially up in the north, because this could be our main region for infrastructure. Oh, I've put it on 4 there. I don't think I want to go on 4. Let's go to 2. How slow is it? It's slow, but it's not civilian factory slow. An anti-Comintern pact. Germany proposes we sign a pact to address the Comintern's goal of spreading... I say we join that. We're going to keep our options open with Germany. I'm not sure. I'm honestly not sure. Let's put them guys into training so we can generate some XP. If we're going to go with Germany or against them. You saw when we played Sweden how we could attack nicely into Germany once they got engaged, and that worked out really well for us. So that might be a tactic we follow once again. Excellent. We've got the spy agency opened up. This opens up some more great stuff. This will give us a civilian factory and production of steel. There's quite a few that does this, by the way. There's some great focuses in here. As I say, everything is really good. We are going to hammer down anything that gives us political power, which this one does as well. Although at the moment, I should point out that we are losing public trust. There are things that we can do to try and help this, or you can even make it lower if you wanted an election. But we're just going to eat the penalties on that. I'll tell you why we're losing public trust. It's because he's got a certain thing. It's concerning support for socialists. Having more than 9% support for democratic or communist ideologies will decrease the public trust. And as you can see, it is like that. Actually, that one's fine. The communist is fine. So it's the democratic one. Okay. And I'm guessing that's because of the event we had earlier, which gave us 10% fascism. That's worked out quite nicely for us. So we're just going to risk problems with public trust. This is nearly there. And then we're going to need even more political... actually, let's start convincing Sweden. Improve relations. It's not terrible. But let's start with that. Meanwhile, we shall reinforce this army. And train. So what you can see now is that first stage is finished. There is some fascism support here. And now we can put pressure on these governments as well. However, to do that, we have to have decent relations with them. So we just need to wait until our relations improve a little bit, as they are doing fairly quickly. And then we're going to spend some more of these. Excellent. That was a nice bonus there of 50 political power. Let's have a look. So does this need both of these? It requires all of the following. I think I'll probably take that. We get a good advisor. We do have time to not have to rush through those, so it might be wise to do some other things. That increases recruitable population factor, which is nice. And that one creates 3 Finnish units in Usima. And helps with basically everything else. That's also very nice. Okay. There's some awesome stuff in here. That'll give us... Oh, infrastructure construction speed for 2 years. Let's do that. And 2 civilian factories. Let's take that one on. Now let's... Oh, wow. Okay. Well, clearly this guy, because he's far, far superior to the others. Boost ideology mission. Oh, we're going to need that. We are definitely going to need that. That is awesome. Let's just add him in there. And so, what we're going to do... We can't do a whole lot. We can't actually upgrade these at the moment because we don't have enough civilian factories. Which is a nuisance. However, we can put this guy on boosting ideology. Where should we do it? We can't yet because we need... Okay, so we need to do the upgrade to the department for that. However, we can do diplomatic pressure. One at a time. That we can do. And we're looking for the pressure the Swedish government to go green here. Which it just has. And we tick that right now. And then I'm also going to go for Denmark. So let's improve relations there. And I recommend, if you're trying this tactic out, to do this one at a time. Because you can't fire them all off at once one of these is being pressured. you can't then do the others. The only thing you can do is promote ideology rallies all at once. You can do that. We've got a seducer. It's a very brown outfit, isn't it? I think we're going to go with Rayleigh Järvinen. She's also going to put political pressure on Sweden. I don't know if doing 2 makes it go up faster. We should probably have a look at that. So we've got 16 days and we're going to see a result of this. Civil war looks in a mess down there, doesn't it? We do have the border, the army on the border. People say this increases the chance of Sweden doing... Wow, and there we go. We've got it. Let's just put this on pause. Also, if you do this, folks, and you get a result like this, make sure the game is on slow or pause for what follows next. This is super important if Norway does this. So, after negotiations inside the Swedish government reach a deadlock, Per Albin Hansson has suggested a compromise solution. While they are willing to accept Finnish forces on Swedish soil, they will not accept any kind of interference in their system of government. Further, the Swedish military will remain active, staffed by Swedish officers and ranks and answering only to the Swedish government. However, Per Albin Hansson is willing to discuss mutual defence plans. So what happens when we start taking these options out? Is an event fires in the country, Finland's putting pressure on, and several things can happen. They can switch government types to a fascist one, or ideology types. They can join your faction, as looks like has happened here, or is about to happen here. No, they have just done it, because they do have a thing about neutrality, but there we go. Neutral foreign policy. I don't think that's a problem. I hope it's not. But they have joined the faction. So this is excellent. This makes the next stage of the game a lot easier. Or they can just tell you to get stuffed altogether. So at least they're going to be fighting on the right side. Sweden joins the Finnish Supremacy League. That's good. So they don't like us a whole... Well, they might not like us a whole lot, but that's absolutely fine. That will wear off.